Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be sharing about Sustainable Development Goal 11, or SDG 11, which aims to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. As more than half of the world's population now lives in cities, the goal of SDG 11 is to ensure that urbanization brings progress, not problems. It promotes better housing, improved transportation, cleaner environments, and stronger city planning to help people live comfortably and safely. Now, let's connect this to what recently happened in Cebu, where a 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck, leaving many people homeless, damaging infrastructure, and disrupting livelihoods. This reminds us that sustainable cities are not just about development, but also about resilience, our ability to recover and rebuild in a way that's safer and stronger than before. Through the lens of SDG 11, we can learn four major takeaways from this experience. First, it improved living condition. The earthquake revealed that the urgent need for safe and stable housing. Many families lost their homes or were forced to stay in evacuation center. As we rebuild, SDG 11 encouraged us to prioritize affordable, disaster-resilient housing and access to basic services like clean water, sanitation, and electricity. Building stronger homes and providing adequate facilities can help protect communities from future disaster and improve their quality of life. Second effect of SDG 11 is it reduces environmental impact. Natural disasters often worsen environmental problems. Debris, waste, and damaged infrastructure contribute to pollution. SDG 11 promotes sustainable rebuilding efforts like using eco-friendly materials, proper waste disposal, and green transportation systems. In Cebu's recovery, we can reduce the city's environmental footprint by promoting green spaces, energy efficient designs, and low emission transport. This change does not only protect the environment, but also make the city more livable and sustainable in the long run. Third effect of SDG 11 is its economic growth. The road, the road to recovery can open doors for economic opportunities. Reconstruction effort create jobs, attract investments, and stimulate local businesses by integrating sustainable systems such as better public transportation, reliable utilities, and climate-smart infrastructure. Cebu can grow economically while ensuring safety and welfare of its people. When a city invests in a resilient infrastructure, it becomes more attractive for investors and provides long-term stability for communities. Fourth and last effect of SDG is the community empowerment. SDG 11 reminds us that rebuilding must involve everyone. Communities should have a voice in how their cities are planned and reconstructed. The earthquake showed how strong Cebuano spirit and solidarity can be. Citizens volunteered, donated, and supported one another. By promoting inclusive and participatory governance, we empower local residents to take part in decision making. This ensures that recovery projects truly address people's needs and that no one is left behind. The magnitude 6.9 earthquake in Cebu taught us the powerful lesson. Resilient cities are built not only from concrete and steel, but from unity, foresight, and compassion. By following the principles of SDG 11, we can rebuild Cebu into a city that stands stronger, not just against earthquake, but any challenges that may bring in the future.
I'll be talking about SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, and how it relates to what we experience here in Cebu and across the Philippines. Let's start with the causes. First, we have overcrowded cities. Since people are moving to cities to find better jobs or education, this makes the population grows faster, leading to traffic, lack of space, and limited basic needs. Next, poor waste management, and pollution. Cities produce a lot of garbage, and when waste isn't managed properly, it causes pollution, bad smells, and flooding. Third, inadequate infrastructure and public transport. We can all relate to this, especially during traffic, damaged roads, and overcrowded jeepneys or buses. This shows that our transport systems still needs a lot of improvement. And lastly, climate change impacts. Both Cebu and other cities in Philippines face stronger typhoons, extreme heat, and flooding. This greatly affects homes, roads, and people's daily lives. Now, let's talk about the challenges in achieving SDG 11. First, urban poverty. Many families in the Philippines live in poor areas without clean water or proper housing. This makes it hard for cities to provide safe and healthy living conditions. Second, climate vulnerability. The Philippines often faces typhoons, floods, and sometimes earthquakes. And just recently, there were strong earthquakes felt in different parts of the country, including Mindanao and areas in Visayas, especially in Cebu City, where many buildings, houses, and public facilities were destroyed, and people were forced to evacuate for safety. Third, financial constraints. Building better cities needs a lot of money, but the government's budget is often limited. And because of that, some projects are delayed or not finished. And lastly, poor governance. Corruption and weak city planning slows down the progress. And when funds are not used properly, it becomes harder to improve our cities.
Good day, everyone. For my part, I'll be discussing the targets under Sustainable Development Goal 11, which focuses on building sustainable cities and communities. These targets serve as a roadmap to ensure that by 2030, urban areas like Cebu will be inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. But before I start, let me briefly relate this to our current situation. Just a few days ago, Cebu and some areas of the Philippines was hit by a series of earthquakes, reminding us of how fragile our urban systems are. Buildings shook, traffic stopped, and panic spread across the city. It was a stark reminder that even as we build modern infrastructures, our resilience is still being tested. And this is exactly what SDG 11 is trying to address. Now let's go through each target and connect them to the realities we face today. Target 11.1, safe and affordable housing. By 2030, we must ensure access to adequate, safe, and affordable housing and upgrade informal settlements. In Cebu, informal communities along Pasig, Lorega, and Tejero remain in high-risk zones. Government programs such as Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino program or 4-piece program exists, but progress is slowed by political disputes, land issues, and funding gaps. The recent quake also showed how poorly built homes can fail catastrophically, underscoring the urgent need for disaster-resilient, dignified housing. Target 11.2, which is affordable and sustainable transport. The Cebu BRT is a long-awaited example intended to ease congestion and cut emissions. Yet political disagreements, right-of-way problems, and bureaucracy have delayed it for years. This target also called for walkable streets and bike lanes, which are low-cost interventions that improve health and reduce pollution if politicians and planners cooperate. Target 11.3, which is inclusive and sustainable urbanization. Sustainable urban growth means participatory planning. In Cebu, planning often remains top-down, with developers and political interests driving reclamation and condominium booms. Sustainable urbanization must center people like street vendors, barangay leaders, and residents, and should be involved in shaping the city. Now for target 11.4, which is to protect cultural and natural heritage. Cebu's Basilica, Fort San Pedro, Magellan's Cross, and natural sites like Busay are assets at risk from unregulated development, weak zoning enforcement, and neglect. Protecting heritage preserves identity and supports sustainable tourism. Target 11.5, which is to reduce adverse effects of disasters. The memory of Typhoon Odette and the recent earthquake show why we need stronger disaster resilience like retrofitting, early warning systems, and community drills. Political cycles must not interrupt long-term resilience planning. Target 11.6, which is to reduce environmental impact. After the Enaya 1 landfill issues, Cebu still struggles with waste management, illegal dumping, and air pollution from traffic. Achieving this target needs better waste systems, renewable energy uptake, and stricter air quality enforcement. For 11.7, we have safe, inclusive, green, and public spaces. Public spaces are actually shrinking under commercial pressure. Places like Plaza Independencia and Cebu Business Park exist, but many communities lack accessible parks. We need more community parks, inclusive play areas, and safe pedestrian spaces in Cebu. Now, first, target 11.A, which is regional development planning. Metro Cebu must coordinate with its neighboring cities like Mandaue, Lapu-Lapu, and Talisay. Cebu City needs joint infrastructure, traffic, and flood solutions so projects don't overlap or conflict across boundaries. This means that coordination between the cities are a must for target 11.B, which is to policies for inclusion and disaster risk reduction. The Sendai framework alignment matters. Many LGU DRRM plans are outdated or poorly implemented, and continuity across administrations is actually essential because disasters do not wait for elections. For target 11.C, last, this support for resilience building. Local innovations such as bamboo housing, eco bricks show promise, but need technical support and funding so low-income communities can build resiliently with local materials. Now, how can we achieve SDG 11? As shown in our presentation, there are several key ways we can help in achieving this SDG 11. We have promoting recycling and waste reduction in communities, support green spaces and tree planting initiatives, advocate for public transport over private vehicles, participate in community cleanup and urban development programs, and lastly, to encourage sustainable construction and energy efficient housing. Now, let's expand on these ideas and see how each level of society can contribute to making our cities and communities truly sustainable. In the individual level, everything starts with us. We can help by practicing proper waste segregation, minimizing single-use plastics, and supporting eco-friendly local products. In Cebu, where waste remains a critical problem, even small acts like joining barangay cleanup drives or planting trees along the riverbanks can make a big difference. We should also shift our mindset on transportation. Instead of using private vehicles for short trips, we can walk, bike, or use public transport. Every small action actually reduces our carbon footprint and traffic congestion. Most importantly, as students and citizens, we must stay informed and remain vocal. Speak up on social media about environmental issues, support green initiatives, and hold leaders accountable for urban projects that may harm the environment or communities. At the community level, barangay play a huge role in achieving SDG 11. They can organize recycling stations, urban gardening projects, and disaster preparedness programs. Barangay leaders should also encourage residents to participate in local planning consultations, ensuring that voices from all sectors like the youth, elderly, PWDs are all heard. For instance, after the recent earthquakes and typhoons, local disaster councils should work quickly to assess structures and provide assistance. Strengthening this kind of grassroots readiness is essential for resilient communities. For the local government level, our city and municipal government must lead by example. They should enforce zoning laws, manage waste properly, and promote sustainable infrastructure such as renewable energy and green building designs. Projects like the Cebu Bus Rapid Transit BRT are steps towards sustainable mobility. But this must be accelerated and implemented transparently. The Cebu City government can also collaborate with environmental groups to reclaim open spaces for public parks and recreational areas. In addition, the city must strengthen disaster risk reduction and management measures, ensuring that every barangay has evacuation plans, earthquake drills, and structurally sound evacuation centers. Lastly, on the national government level, at the national scale, agencies like the Department of Environment and Natural Resources and the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development play crucial roles in ensuring policies for affordable housing, clean air, and waste management. The Philippine Congress should also prioritize urban sustainability laws and disaster resilience standards while ensuring that local government units or LGUs have the funding and capacity to implement them. Finally, collaboration between government and private sectors is vital. Through public-private partnerships, we can fund more housing projects, renewable energy initiatives, and smart transport systems that benefit everyone, not just the privileged few. In short, achieving SDG 11 is not a task for one group, but it's a shared responsibility. From ordinary citizens to the national government, everyone has a role in shaping a city that is inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. Now, let's imagine what the world and our country would look like without SDG 11. Without this goal, our cities would actually continue to expand without order or direction. In Cebu, this could mean more people living in unsafe informal settlements exposed to disasters like earthquakes, floods, and fires. Traffic would worsen, pollution would increase, and green spaces would actually disappear under the pressure of uncontrolled urbanization. Without sustainable planning, slum populations would grow, and homelessness would rise. Our streets would be more congested, our rivers more polluted, and our skies filled with smog. Public health would actually deteriorate. More cases of respiratory diseases, more heat-related illnesses, and higher stress levels due to chaotic living conditions. The gap between the rich and the poor would widen as only a few could afford clean, safe environments while the rest are left behind. Politically, the absence of SDG 11 would mean a failure of governance. Leaders focusing only on short-term development for popularity instead of long-term sustainability. Imagine if no one enforced earthquake safety standards or if disaster funds were misused. Communities like those affected by typhoons or earthquakes would actually suffer even more. Economically, businesses would actually lose investors as cities become unstable and unsafe. Tourism, a major income source for Cebu, would decline if the city becomes polluted or unsafe. Essentially, without SDG 11, urbanization would continue, but it would become a pathway to destruction, not development. This vision reminds us why SDG 11 exists. It is a blueprint for balanced progress, ensuring that as our cities grows, they remain livable, inclusive, and resilient for everyone. Now, to conclude, SDG 11 is one of the most important goals for our generation, especially for cities like Cebu, where rapid growth beats constant challenges. It's not just about building tall buildings or new roads, but it's about creating communities that can withstand disaster, embrace inclusivity, and care for the environment. The recent earthquake reminded us that sustainability isn't just about progress, it's about preparedness and protection. We need to rethink how we build, plan, and govern our cities so that no one is left behind when crisis strike. Achieving SDG 11 also requires a collective effort of every sector, from the individuals who practice responsible habits and demand transparency to the communities that unite to maintain cleanliness, safety, and cooperation, to the local governments that enforce environmental and safety policies, and national leaders who shape long-term vision for sustainable urban development. As we continue to urbanize, let's remember, a city's greatness isn't measured by its skyline or its economy, but by how it treats its people, especially the most vulnerable. If we work together, we can transform Cebu and the rest of the Philippines or even the world into cities that are not only modern but truly sustainable. Cities that don't just grow, but cities that endure. Thank you.